Redditors who have been on a reality TV show such as Hardcore Porn or Pimp My Ride or Porn Stars. How fake was it? A husband and wife that I know, who that run a historic park in Kansas, had the Diggers TV show come to their park and film a show. They said they spent a few hours doing some shots for the TV show, then broke out the rest of the team and did an actual archaeological survey. They didn't expect them to find much since the site had been picked over for decades, but they ended up finding quite a lot of artifacts. I was on an episode of Wife Swap. One of the wives was a burlesque dancer, so her new husband had to MC a variety show of which she was the headliner. I was the juggler in that act. Full disclosure, I'm pretty sure all tape with me on it is on the cutting room floor. Anywho, pretty darn fake. The people are real, and lots of their interactions are real. But a ton of scenarios are staged. Okay, now we're going to plan the show, but make sure Wally, new husband, takes over. He'd never done anything showbiz before, so naturally we tried to help him. But the director kept telling us that he was in charge and he needed to be doing the planning. I caught a moment of a personal interview as well. Honest answers, but very much being steered by the camera crew and director. During the show, the crew said they needed to get sound levels, so they had people sit quietly, clap politely, clap loudly, etc. I'm fairly certain that was so they could have clips showing a range of responses. In the end, the whole show bit got about 4 seconds of time on screen. Waste of 2 days. No pay. I was on set for a filming Go Ghost Hunters in Buffalo. On the show, they are investigating an upper level of the Buffalo Central Terminal when they hear a disembodied voice say "Get out." It was the property manager on a lower level yelling at some homeless people to clear out. Everyone knew it was him, but it somehow made it in the show as an unexplained event. I had a friend who auditioned for the voice on the second season, I think. He has a beautiful voice but was told his look wasn't right for the show. Always thought that was pretty stupid. Worked on Love It or List It. The reactions at the time of the reveal of the house were meant to be real, and they actually sign a contract saying they won't go in the house before renovations are complete. 99% of the work isn't done by the people shown doing the work on TV. It's done by subcontractors. The entire staff works until 1 or 2 a.m. the night before filming to get the house ready. Most of the stuff they put in for design purposes was taken back after the shoot because it wasn't part of the homeowner's budget. We got blacklisted from several stores because we would buy thousands of dollars of stuff and take it back after we shot. I was on a reality ambulance TV show when I was an EMT. The patients were real and their medical conditions were real. Everything else about the show was fake. When we filmed, it was for a bariatric ambulance TV show. In the morning when the camera crew got there, they filmed us driving lights and sirens around the parking lot. Then we did personal interviews where they let us talk about moving bariatric patients and how we felt about our jobs. Then they made us say a bunch of stuff that we normally would never say, like without us these patients would die, etc. They used these clips of the stuff they made us say and spliced it into the real stuff we said. Our actual ambulance transport scene in the TV show was 100% planned and scripted. The patient wanted to go to the ER and have some decubitus ulcers looked at. However, this patient, being diabetic, had a high blood sugar of 400, having just eaten and taken insulin. We took that and were forced to treat it like a life or death situation, and then they used our earlier footage of saying things were life and death and our driving around the parking lot lights and sirens to make it seem like we were fighting for her life. In reality, in about 30 minutes her sugar was going to go back down to normal and life would be good. The whole experience actually really turned me off to reality TV and made me realize how fake everything is. If people are interested, I'm sure I can find the YouTube clip. I just have to double check and make sure I didn't sign a non-disclosure agreement. Edit, I found the clip and will post a link. I just want to make sure there isn't a non-disclosure agreement on file. Don't want to get in trouble for ruining reality TV for everyone, lol. Edit, I finally talked to the company on Friday and they are still pitching this show to producers. So I cannot share the video. Sorry. I was on a TV show in the UK called Bargain Hunt. I went on it for a bit of a drunken dare and never expected to get past the online application form, but after a phone interview and a bargain hunt tryout day we got on, we as in me and my workmate. I asked workmate as he was going through a crappy time. It was shot over 2 days. Day 1 we had 1 hour to choose the 3 antiques to sell, and day 2 was the auction day, where we sell chosen items. The only fake bit about it was that we had an hour to choose our 3 items, but we actually spread this over 5 hours as we had to film, get sound right, get lighting right, etc. And as the TV crew are sorting out lighting and stuff, me and friend would keep on looking around the antique house for other objects to buy. I had a cousin on the new Chris Hansen. I wish that was fake. It's not skeptical. TV producer here. 90% fake. If you have a good showrunner, they will soft script the whole thing and execute efficiently. If you have a shitty showrunner that thinks they're the best thing since sliced bread, they will try to shoot everything real and waste weeks upon weeks of shooting, forcing a number of pickups and reducing the profit of the series. When guests come in to be on the show, they are basically told how the interaction will go, then action, and you get as many takes as you need to get the scene locked. Occasionally something goes wrong that ends up playing well on camera, or someone has an improv moment that works, but it's rare. Then you shoot real/fake interviews with everyone to move the story along, and most of it is guided with about 80% being just say this. Edit: I was a mid-level manager operating without a contract, so I don't have to abide by any confidentiality agreement. When my wife and I were looking to buy a home in Michigan, our agent told us we had the opportunity to be on House Hunters if we wanted to. We talked to some person from the show, and they told us the basic process. We'd buy whatever home we wanted, then they would film us there before we moved in, as though we were just looking at the place as well as looking at 2 other prospective places that they had selected. Then we'd ultimately choose the house we'd already bought and live happily ever after. We watched a few episodes, or I did. My wife already liked the show, and I convinced my wife of how stupid they would likely make us look, so we passed. I have several friends that were on the first season of Moonshiner, Discovery Channel. It is totally fake. I mean, they do make moonshine, but what you see on the show is not what it's like in real life. Most of them are licensed to sell alcohol, and do sell it locally at the package stores. The others only make a little to have for themselves and a few friends, more to keep up a family tradition than anything else. But the producers had them set up stills in the woods, and even told them what to wear to make it look more backwoods, redneck, good old boys than anybody in this area has looked in 50 years. Most of us sat there, with the guys that were being filmed, watching the episodes and laughing at all the people that probably think this stuff is real, while drinking store-bought beer. The hard stuff is only for rare occasions. It'll rot your gut if you drink it all the time. Rare occasions equals Saturday nights. A buddy of mine was on Big Brother Canada. He said pretty much everything is real. He also said that once people are voted out, they have to stay in a different house for the remainder of the show, which doesn't have cameras. Apparently some freaky shit goes down once people get there. I was on Miami Inc. The only parts that were staged were the entrances and exits to the shop. I had to do them a few times because the crowds surrounding the shop. I had to wear the same clothes twice to look like I did the 2 in 2 session, but the reality it was 3 8-hour sessions. Otherwise it was a really cool experience. Everyone in the shop was the same as in TV. Maybe a little forced drama for TV's sake, but great experience. The work was great and behind the scenes staff were great. I was on Stan Lee's Superhumans. Long shoot day at the high altitude chamber I worked at. They brought a guy who had climbed Mount Everest a bunch of times without supplemental oxygen, 29,000 feet, so we brought him to the same altitude in the chamber with some Westerners to compare against. He asked for oxygen after 15 minutes, and after 30 they asked me to pretend to pass out. Looking back at what aired, it's obvious to me I was faking. The way they edited the show, he does win the competition. Season 2. Spider-Man is the episode title. Edit for spelling.
with